Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorials video. This video is going to be me talking about controls in the Attack on Titan tribute game. And I was actually kind of conflicted about doing this episode because, controls are pretty straightforward. It's all there if you press P or if you press settings on the main menu. But, it was part of my original schedule for tutorials videos, so I thought, well, I might as well finish what I started and do it properly. But this is actually going to be my last proper tutorials video. Basically, after this, all the other For Dummies videos will be like extra videos, basically. It's going to be me answering you guys' questions and looking at the comments in the comment section below and seeing which aspect of the game would be a good thing to make a tutorials video on. So definitely I'm expecting you guys to ask me questions and supply me things to talk about. If it's something that's kind of stupid or it's just out of my reach as a player of the Attack on Titan tribute game, there's just no way for me to teach you guys that. Or if there's already a tutorial for that, then I'll just say in the comment section why I won't be making a tutorials video of that. All that aside, that's pretty much all I had to say. Let's get straight into the video. Background footage isn't going to be any kind of interesting thing. It's just going to be me talking about a screenshot that I took of my control setup. So basically the way I have it is called default, and basically in the bottom right corner of the settings menu there's a little button called default. If you click that, then it resets every single control button to the way that Feng had it set up. But before I steamroll straight through these controls, I just want to quickly say that it is possible to hook up your PS3 and your Xbox controllers and play with those instead. Now, I've never done this, and so I wouldn't know exactly what the best thing in the world is. But there's always a lot of discussion on the forums about how to use different controllers and stuff like that. And someone actually managed to play with a Wii controller, and that was pretty, well, it was actually kind of pathetic, to tell you the truth. It looked kind of lame, but definitely if that's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and do that too. Anyway, settings. Forward, backward, left, and right is WASD as always. As I told you guys before in the movements and 3DMG video. Jump is left shift. Now this is where the biggest change happens for most people, because a lot of people like jumping to be space, and personally I see nothing wrong with that. If you think that the left shift doesn't make any sense for you at all and space is far better for jumping, then that's certainly something you can try. Do keep in mind though that holding jump is how you get gas. So if you don't feel comfortable holding space, then I suggest something else. I personally am very comfortable with left shift just because I've used it for so long. Dodge is left control. This is actually pretty sensible in my opinion, because you can only dodge when you're on the ground, and when you're on the ground, the chances are you're not going to be jumping that much. So yeah, if you stick to using your pinky for both, it just means that you just have to think less about which one you're holding at the same time. It's more just a matter of what do I want to do, and then you can just use your pinky to either do one or the other, and not have to accidentally do both and then screw yourself over. Left hook is Q, right hook is E, and both hooks is space. Now the three of these combined are used to use 3DMG properly, and the biggest modification that I see is left hook is your left mouse button, right hook is your right mouse button, and both hooks is you're clicking on your scroll wheel. Or I've heard people calling it the third mouse button, which is I don't know, that's a bit dodgy in my opinion, but definitely that's a very valid option. I've actually tried that. Whenever I get a mouse, I start experimenting with all the different camera types and stuff like that, and I tried that a while ago, but I just started getting confused between whether to shoot Q or whether to click, or whenever I tried to attack, I forgot that I'd reset my attack to space. So yeah, it just got really confusing for me, so I decided to just stick with this. But definitely it could work, because the way that setup works is basically your 3DMG is confined to your mouse. You look around, you move your camera with your mouse, and then you use your mouse to shoot your hooks and stuff like that. So If you like the idea that movement in the air is confined to your mouse specifically, then definitely that's something that you can try out for yourselves. Lock is F. Now lock doesn't have a lot of capabilities, especially if you're a TPS player, so personally this doesn't make that much difference for me. I like how close it is to WASD, so I personally suggest not changing it at all. But then again, if you really don't feel comfortable doing that, then yeah, feel free to change it. Attack is left mouse button, which is pretty standard. Again, you can change that to space. If you use space for jump, then yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do, but definitely that's something for you guys to decide. Special attack has a little bit of a, what do you call this, a hashtag, I guess, but it's not really. Special attack has a thing, and it says if you're using WoW camera mode, you'll need to reassign the special attack. And the big reason for that is because the default says special attack is assigned to right mouse button, but if you're using WoW camera mode, your right mouse button is used specifically to move your camera around. So definitely the last thing you want is to be Levi-coptering all over the place, or accidentally using interrupted chop just because you're trying to move the camera. So I personally suggest V, because it's near your thumb, and you almost never use the both hooks button anyway. So if you do use WoW camera and you do use the rest of the defaults, then special attack as V would definitely be a good choice, I think. Salute is N, which isn't that big of a deal, but again, if it feels uncomfortable for you for whatever reason, then feel free to change that. Camera type is C, which changes your camera in game. So if you select a camera mode at the beginning of the game, and then you want to change it later on in game, this is how you do it. Reset is T, so if you die, it says on the screen right there, press T to restart, but you can also do that before you die. Just press T anytime during the game, and you can do that. Pause is P, and the pause menu is actually what you're looking at right now. As you can see, I'm actually in game and I pressed P in order to get this. Show/hide cursor, which is a very, very weird option in my opinion. Like, nobody I know plays with the cursor off, and a couple of people have been talking about it in the forums, but they don't have anything to say apart from don't do it because it's ridiculous. So yeah, basically what happens is your cursor just disappears from the screen. There's no distance, there's no arrows that tell you where your hooks are going to go, and most importantly, there's no what's it called? There's no crosshair, that's what it's called. There's no crosshair at the middle of the screen to show you where your hooks are going to go. So that's a weird option. I don't know why Feng put it there, but he put it there. So yeah, if X isn't a good place for you, then you can change that. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I have accidentally pressed X a couple of times when I was panicking or whatever, and basically I panic even more because now I can't find my cursor, and yeah, that's just like the end of the world pretty much. And it's not that bad if you're a TPS player, because you can approximate where the center of the screen is, but if you're an original or a WoW player, you basically have no idea where your cursor is, because it's free flowing and it goes wherever it wants to go, or it goes wherever you want to go, I guess. But once you don't know where that cursor is, then you're pretty much screwed. So I suggest moving it really far away. Something like L would probably be okay. So yeah, changing blades is R. I think this is a pretty good choice, but the fact that the reset button is really close to this means that sometimes I'll be speed running and I'll be having a really good time, and then I'll realize my blades are rose, and then I press R, or I tried to press R, but then I accidentally press T instead, so then that screws me over and I get pissed. So yeah, definitely if you're worried about that, then you can change reset to something that's also far away, just like changing blades. Oh wait, I totally missed full screen, sorry guys. Full screen is backspace, which is kind of weird in my opinion. Because, okay, here's the thing: if you go into full screen with backspace, and then you exit with escape, basically all of the UI on the screen actually disappears. So, if you want your UI to stay on the screen, you have to press backspace when you're coming out of full screen in order for that to work. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it's backspace isn't that big of a deal. you know, it's quite far away from WAS and D, so you won't accidentally do stupid stuff. Anyway, moving on, Flair Green, Flair Red, Flair Black are respectively 1, 2, and 3, which is cool, but whenever I play with people, sometimes they just like randomly start shooting flares, and the reason for that is because they've been shooting Q and E, and then sometimes they just get really aggressive, and then they accidentally start pressing 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, someone shoots like all 3 flares at once, and I'm like, they're in trouble, and then, yeah, I go there, and they're just killing Titans. I'm just like, what's that about? And they're like, oh, that was an accident, I'm so sorry. And yeah, those are pretty much all the settings. Single mode only, here it says with a star, is talking about the reset button, which, you know, obviously makes sense. You can't reset a multiplayer game. The rest of the settings are mouse sensitivity, which is a slider, and basically you can slide your mouse sensitivity. God, thanks, Captain Obvious. Change quality, basically for the beginning, it's really low quality with no shadows at all. As you progress forward, you get a limited shadow, and you still get low quality, and as you move it up, the shadows get really high, and you get like blurring, as you know, the objects are farther away, and stuff like that. Invert mouse y-axis is a toggle. Basically, if I move my mouse up, right now the screen also moves up, but with invert mouse y-axis, if I move my mouse up, then the screen starts moving down. So, you know, if you're more used to an inverted mouse y-axis, then definitely that's something for you. Camera tilt was actually added the update after camera tilt was added. Like, the camera tilt option was added after. Mainly because Feng got a lot of complaints about how the camera tilt made them dizzy or made them feel sick and stuff like that. And a lot of people were, you know, kind of stressed about not being able to play the game anymore. So Feng added this, which is definitely a very, very good choice. Because, you know, making the game look good is, you know, one of his priorities, but if it's at the sake of making players feel sick, then obviously you're limiting a lot of your player base from actually enjoying the game. So definitely kudos to Feng for adding that in. And yeah, those are your settings. Those are all your controls, and the reason I'm doing this so late rather than making it like the second episode, I forgot to tell you guys, is because by now a lot of you guys have probably established your own playing styles, or you know, are on your way to making your own playing styles. So definitely modifying the settings so that they really fit you is something that I'd recommend. And if you're more used to Xbox or PS3 controls, then you can also use that to your advantage. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, share it with your friends and anyone else who you think will need it or enjoy it or anything like that. Comment, ask questions. Remember, the rest of the 4 Dummies videos will all be about extra material, because I've done everything that I wanted to do regarding tutorials videos. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.